First contact and misconceptions. The vast emptiness of space had always held secrets, but none as shocking as the one the Zorthian exploration vessel, Cosmic Seeker, stumbled upon in the outer reaches of a nondescript solar system. Captain Zalthora, her iridescent scales shimmering under the soft glow of the ship's lights, leaned forward in her command chair, multifaceted eyes widening at the holographic display before her. "Unbelievable," she whispered, her voice a melodic hum that carried across the bridge. "An inhabited planet, teeming with life, and it's been here all along." Her second-in-command, Vextor, slithered closer, his serpentine body coiling in excitement. "Captain, our initial scans indicate a dominant species, bipedal, mammalian, showing signs of rudimentary technology." Zalthora's antenna twitched with interest. "Sentient?" "Affirmative," Vextor replied, his clawed hands dancing over the control panel. "But primitive by our standards. Their technology appears to be in its infancy, no signs of interstellar travel capabilities." The captain's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "Interesting. What else can you tell me about them?" Vextor pulled up more data on the holographic display. "They call themselves humans. Their planet, Earth, is resource-rich but poorly managed. Their societies are fractured, constantly at war with each other. They seem to lack unity and purpose." As the Zorthians observed Earth from orbit, they saw a planet divided. Nations squabbled over territories, resources were depleted without regard for long-term consequences, and the ecosystem showed signs of strain from unchecked industrialization. "Look at them," Zalthora mused, her voice tinged with a mixture of pity and disdain. "So caught up in their petty conflicts that they can't see the bigger picture. They're practically begging to be conquered and guided by a superior species." The more the Zorthians watched, the more convinced they became of humanity's weakness. They observed humans struggling against their environment, falling prey to diseases, and cowering in the face of natural disasters. The aliens saw the proliferation of weapons on Earth not as a sign of humanity's martial prowess, but as evidence of their fear and vulnerability. "Captain," Vextor interjected, "I've been analyzing their physical capabilities. They're unimpressive, to say the least. Slow, weak compared to our warriors. No natural defenses to speak of. They rely entirely on their primitive tools and weapons." Zalthora's mandibles curved into what passed for a smile among her species. "Prey," she declared. "We've stumbled upon a planet of prey, Vextor. Ripe for the taking." The bridge erupted in excited chittering as the crew realized the implications of their discovery. The Zorthian Empire had been looking to expand, and here was a perfect opportunity. A resource-rich world populated by a species that would surely offer little resistance. "Prepare a report for the High Command," Zalthora ordered. "Emphasize the ease with which we could subjugate these humans. With their resources and our guidance, we could turn this chaotic world into a jewel of our empire." As the Cosmic Seeker continued its silent orbit around Earth, the Zorthians began to plan. They cataloged human weaknesses, plotted strategies for swift domination, and dreamed of the glory that would come with conquering this new world. Little did they know that their observations, filtered through the lens of their own arrogance and preconceptions, had led them to gravely misunderstand the nature of humanity. They saw only what they expected to see, a weak, divided species ripe for conquest. They failed to recognize the potential that lay dormant within the human spirit, the resilience forged through millennia of struggle, and the fierce determination that would soon turn the tables on the overconfident invaders. In the coming days, as the Zorthian fleet assembled at the edge of the solar system, humanity remained blissfully unaware of the storm that was about to break upon them. But in this moment of calm before the tempest, the stage was set for a conflict that would shake the foundations of galactic society and force the Zorthians to confront a terrifying truth, that in the human species they had awakened not a docile prey, but a slumbering predator. The Cosmic Seeker sent its final transmission to the Zorthian homeworld, a message filled with confident predictions of an easy victory. As the communication beamed across the vast distances of space, Earth continued its serene rotation, its inhabitants going about their daily lives, unaware that they stood on the precipice of a war that would define their species for generations to come. In the darkness of space, Zalthora gazed down at the blue-green orb that was Earth, her mandibles clicking in anticipation. "Enjoy your final moments of peace, humans," she murmured. "Soon, you'll know your place in the cosmic order." But as the first light of dawn broke over Earth's horizon, it heralded not just a new day, but the beginning of a conflict that would shatter the Zorthians' illusions and reveal the true nature of humanity. A species that, when pushed to the brink, would prove to be far more than the simple prey the aliens had anticipated. The stage was set, the players unaware of their roles, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting for the moment when two species would collide, and the true measure of humanity would be taken. The invasion begins. The day the sky fell was etched into humanity's collective memory with fire and fear. It began like any other. The sun rose, people went about their daily routines, and the great machinations of human civilization hummed along, blissfully unaware of the impending catastrophe. At 9:37 GMT, the first Zorthian warships breached Earth's atmosphere. Their massive forms, sleek and otherworldly, cast long shadows over stunned populations across the globe. From New York to Tokyo, Rio de Janeiro to Moscow, people stopped in their tracks, gazing upward with a mixture of awe and terror. Captain Zalthora, leading the vanguard of the invasion fleet, allowed herself a moment of smug satisfaction as she observed the chaos unfolding on the planet below. "Look at them scatter," she purred to her second-in-command, Vextor. "Like insects when a stone is overturned." The initial assault was brutally efficient. Zorthian energy weapons lanced down from the sky, targeting military installations, communication hubs, and seats of government. Humanity's most advanced weapons seemed pitiful in comparison, their missiles and fighter jets swatted away like annoying flies. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Rossi stood in the ruins of the partially collapsed White House, her face ashen but her eyes blazing with determination. "We will not go quietly into the night," she declared to a hastily assembled group of advisors and military leaders. "Humanity has faced extinction before, and we've always found a way to survive. This time will be no different." Across the globe, similar scenes played out as world leaders grappled with the unprecedented crisis. Old rivalries were set aside in the face of a common enemy. In a historic moment, the United Nations convened an emergency session, with even the most antagonistic nations finding common ground in the face of alien aggression. But it was not in the halls of power that the true spirit of human resistance first emerged. It was in the streets, in the fields, in the ordinary places where everyday people faced the unimaginable. In a small town in the American Midwest, farmhand Jake Cooper looked up at the alien ships darkening the sky and felt not just fear, but a deep primal anger. "This is our home," he growled, hefting his grandfather's old hunting rifle. "And I'll be damned if I let some overgrown lizards take it without a fight." Similar sentiments echoed across the planet. In the favelas of Sao Paulo, in the bustling markets of Marrakesh, in the neon-lit streets of Seoul, everywhere, humans looked to the sky and made a choice. They would not be conquered. They would not be subjugated. They would fight. The Zorthians, confident in their superior technology and physical prowess, were unprepared for the ferocity and creativity of human resistance. They had expected to find a cowed, submissive population. Instead, they found themselves facing a species that, when backed into a corner, fought with a savagery that shocked even the most battle-hardened Zorthian warriors. In London, as Zorthian ground forces attempted to secure the city, they found themselves ambushed by ordinary citizens wielding improvised weapons. Construction workers turned their tools into instruments of war. Chefs transformed their kitchens into Molotov cocktail factories. Even the notoriously reserved British found a fierce, almost joyful passion in resisting the alien invaders. Dr. Amelia Chen, a brilliant physicist at CERN, looked at the wreckage of the Large Hadron Collider and saw not destruction, but opportunity. "We need to understand their technology," she insisted to her colleagues. "Every weapon has a weakness. We just need to find it." This sentiment was echoed in laboratories and workshops around the world. Human scientists, engineers, and even hobbyist tinkerers threw themselves into the task of understanding and countering Zorthian technology. The aliens had expected to find a primitive species. Instead, they found themselves facing an entire planet of determined problem solvers. In orbit, Zalthora frowned as she reviewed the latest reports from her ground commanders. This is not going according to plan," she muttered, her earlier confidence evaporating. The humans were supposed to be cowering, begging for mercy. Instead, they fought back with a ferocity that bordered on the suicidal. "Perhaps we underestimated them," Captain Vextur suggested cautiously. Zalthora's eyes narrowed. "Nonsense. They're just more stubborn than we anticipated. Increase the intensity of our attacks. Show them the futility of resistance." But as the Zorthians ramped up their offensive, they found that increased brutality only seemed to steel human resolve. Each destroyed city, each fallen nation, became a rallying cry. Humanity, faced with the prospect of extinction, found wells of courage and ingenuity they never knew they possessed. In the mountains of Afghanistan, old enemies became allies as tribal warriors shared their generations of guerrilla warfare knowledge with special forces operators from around the world. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes used their intimate knowledge of the land to run circles around befuddled Zorthian search parties. And in the shattered remains of Silicon Valley, a group of tech entrepreneurs and hackers came together with a daring plan. "If we can't beat them with brawn," declared Sarah Wong, a young coding prodigy, "we'll beat them with brains. Let's show these aliens what human ingenuity really looks like." As the first week of the invasion drew to a close, the Zorthians found themselves in an unexpected position. What should have been a swift conquest had turned into a grueling planet-wide guerrilla war. Human resistance was not only fierce but clever, constantly adapting, constantly surprising. In her command ship, Zalthora paced restlessly. The earlier reports of easy victory had given way to a steady stream of setbacks and uncertainties. She gazed down at the blue-green planet, its night side now dotted with the fires of conflict, and felt a twinge of something unfamiliar: doubt. "These humans," she mused, almost to herself, "they're not what we thought they were." Little did she know, this realization was only the beginning. As humanity rallied and prepared to take the fight to the stars, the Zorthians were about to learn a harsh lesson about the danger of underestimating their prey. The hunt was on, but the roles of predator and prey were far from settled. Turning the tide. As the conflict entered its second month, the initial shock of the invasion had given way to a grim determination across the planet. Humanity, though bloodied, was far from beaten. In hidden bunkers, makeshift labs, and guerrilla camps around the world, a revolution was brewing, not just of weapons, but of ideas. Dr. Amelia Chen stood in the center of a repurposed underground parking garage in Geneva, surrounded by a motley crew of scientists, engineers, and hackers from around the world. Holographic displays flickered with schematics of Zorthian technology, the fruit of weeks of intense study and reverse engineering. "We've cracked it," she announced, her eyes gleaming with a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. "Their energy weapons, their shields, it's all based on principles we've theorized about for years. We just never had the means to implement them. Until now." Sarah Wong, the coding prodigy from Silicon Valley, stepped forward. "And we've made significant progress in decrypting their communication protocols. We can't understand their language yet, but we can disrupt their signals, maybe even feed them false information." Around the world, similar breakthroughs were occurring. In a hidden facility beneath the Australian outback, a team led by Aboriginal elders and quantum physicists had unlocked the secrets of Zorthian faster-than-light travel. In the frozen wastes of Siberia, Russian and American scientists worked side by side to develop countermeasures against the aliens' advanced sensors. But it wasn't just in the realm of high technology that humanity was adapting. In the scorching deserts of the Sahara, Tuareg nomads were teaching NATO's special forces the art of desert warfare, skills that proved devastatingly effective against the Zorthian troops unused to Earth's harsh environments. In the cities, urban warfare took on new dimensions. The Parker community, once seen as mere daredevils, now trained resistance fighters in the art of navigating the vertical landscapes of shattered skyscrapers. Street artists turned their talents to camouflage, creating mind-bending murals that hid entire resistance bases in plain sight. Even in the digital realm, humanity's creativity shone. A global network of hackers, led by the enigmatic figure known only as Ghost, launched increasingly daring cyberattacks against Zorthian systems. Viruses that seemed to mutate and evolve in real time wreaked havoc on alien networks, sowing confusion and chaos among the invaders. High above the Earth, in her command ship, Captain Zalthora struggled to comprehend the shifting tide of the war. How? She demanded, her scales flushed with a mix of anger and fear. How are they doing this? They were primitives, barely out of their stone age. Vextor, her loyal second-in-command, offered a tentative response. It appears, Captain, that we may have miscalculated. The humans' adaptability is unlike anything we've encountered before. They're not just using our own technology against us. They're improving upon it in ways we never considered. Zalthora hissed in frustration. Impossible. No species could advance so quickly. But the evidence was undeniable. Human fighters, once easy prey for Zorthian warships, now darted through the skies in crafts that seemed to borrow elements from both human and alien technology. Earth's cities, while still bearing the scars of the initial assault, now bristled with defenses that could repel all but the most determined attacks. The turning point came on a sweltering day in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. A joint team of indigenous warriors and international special forces, led by Brazilian Captain Maria Silva, launched a daring raid on a major Zorthian ground base. Using a combination of ancient hunting techniques and cutting-edge stealth technology, they infiltrated the heart of the alien stronghold. What they found there changed the course of the war. Deep within the base lay a quantum communications array, the linchpin of the Zorthian command and control network for the entire South American theater. Captain Silva made a split-second decision that would echo through history. "We're not destroying it," she declared, her voice steady despite the chaos of battle around them. "We're taking it, intact." The extraction was a nightmare of close-quarters combat and hair-raising escapes, but in the end, Silva and her team emerged victorious, with the priceless alien technology in tow. Within hours, the device was in the hands of Dr. Chen and her team in Geneva. "This is it," Chen breathed, her fingers dancing over the alien controls. "With this, we can listen in on their entire battle network, maybe even feed them false information." The effect was immediate and devastating. Suddenly, human resistance fighters seemed to be everywhere at once, always one step ahead of Zorthian forces. Alien supply lines were ambushed with uncanny precision. Counterattacks crumbled before they could begin. In orbit, Zalthora watched with growing horror as her carefully laid plans fell apart. The humans, once thought to be easy prey, had revealed themselves to be formidable predators in their own right. They fought with a combination of savagery and ingenuity that left the Zorthians reeling. "We must regroup," Vextor urged. "Pull back our forces, reassess our strategy." But Zalthora knew it was already too late. The initiative had shifted. The hunters had become the hunted. As if to underscore this point, alarms suddenly blared throughout the command ship. Vextor's eyes widened in disbelief as he read the incoming reports. "Impossible," he whispered. Zalthora didn't need to ask. She could see it with her own eyes. Rising from the Earth's surface were ships, human ships, but unlike anything they had possessed before. They moved with the same fluid grace as Zorthian vessels, but there was something uniquely Earthborn in their design. They were an amalgamation of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien technology, and they were heading straight for the Zorthian fleet. As the human ships approached, a transmission crackled across all frequencies. The face that appeared on the view screen was that of President Elena Rossi, her eyes burning with the same determination she had shown in the ruins of the White House months ago. "Attention, Zorthian forces," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. "You came to our world thinking us weak, thinking us prey. You were wrong. We are humanity. We are the apex predators of Earth, and we're coming for you. This is your only warning. Leave our solar system or face extinction." As the transmission cut off, Zalthora realized with crystal clarity that everything had changed. The easy conquest they had envisioned had become a desperate fight for survival. And for the first time since the invasion began, it was the Zorthians who felt the cold grip of fear. The battle for Earth was entering a new phase, and humanity was taking the fight to the stars. The galaxy was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the tenacity, creativity, and sheer, unstoppable will of the human species. The hunter becomes the hunted. The vast emptiness of space, once the domain of Zorthian supremacy, now echoed with the roar of human engines. Humanity, in a feat of engineering and adaptation that defied all alien expectations, had taken to the stars with a vengeance. Admiral Jane Harper stood on the bridge of the UES Resilience, Earth's first true interstellar warship. A patchwork of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered Zorthian technology, it represented the pinnacle of humanity's wartime innovation. "Status report," Harper barked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the Zorthian fleet in retreat. "All systems nominal, Admiral," her XO replied. "The Zorthian forces are scattering. They seem disorganized." Harper allowed herself a grim smile. They should be. They never expected to be on the defensive. The human fleet, a cobbled-together armada of hastily constructed warships and retrofitted civilian vessels, pressed its advantage. What they lacked in numbers, they made up for in sheer audacity and unpredictability. Meanwhile, deep in Zorthian territory, another kind of battle was being waged. Ghost, the enigmatic leader of Earth's hacker collective, had infiltrated the aliens' central network. From a nondescript van somewhere in Tokyo, Ghost and their team were wreaking havoc on Zorthian communications. "You're in," Sarah Wong's voice crackled over the secure line. "Their firewalls are like tissue paper compared to what we deal with on Earth." Ghost's fingers flew over the keyboard, injecting chaos into the Zorthian battle network. False orders, phantom fleet movements, non-existent human superweapons. The digital deception was total and devastating. Back on the Resilience, Admiral Harper watched as the Zorthian fleet fractured, individual ships and squadrons breaking formation as contradictory orders and false information flooded their networks. "Now," Harper commanded, her voice steely with resolve, "hit them with everything we've got." The human fleet surged forward. Ships that would have been swatted aside mere months ago now danced through Zorthian defenses. Weapons, born from the marriage of Earth and alien technology, lanced out across the void. On board the Zorthian flagship, chaos reigned. Captain Zalthora, once so confident in her species' superiority, now fought desperately to maintain control. "How?" she screamed as another barrage rocked her ship. "How are they doing this?" Vextor, his scales pale with fear, could only shake his head. "They're everywhere, Captain. Our sensors can't keep up. It's like they can predict our every move." Little did they know, this was exactly what was happening. In a hidden facility beneath the ruins of C. Arnon, Dr. Amelia Chen had made a breakthrough that bordered on the miraculous. By combining quantum computing with the intuitive leaps of human consciousness, she had created a predictive algorithm that could anticipate Zorthian tactics faster than the aliens themselves could formulate them. "It's working," Chen whispered, watching the battle unfold on her screens. "They're not just fighting the humans they can see. They're fighting every possible version of us. The Zorthian fleet, once the scourge of a dozen star systems, was being systematically dismantled. But humanity's victory was not born solely of technology. It was the human spirit, the indomitable will to survive and thrive, that truly turned the tide. Earth's ships fought with a ferocity and creativity that left the Zorthians reeling. Tactics that would have been considered suicidal by alien standards were employed to devastating effect. Human pilots pulled off maneuvers that seemed to defy the laws of physics, their neural links with their ships allowing for reaction times that bordered on precognition. In the midst of the chaos, a small, stealthy craft slipped past the Zorthian defenses. On board were Captain Maria Silva and a hand-picked team of Earth's most elite soldiers. Their target, the Zorthian flagship itself. Remember, Silva briefed her team one last time. We're not here for revenge. We're here to end this war. The boarding action was swift and brutal. Silva's team, augmented with the best technology Earth and the Zorthians had to offer, cut through the alien defenses like a hot knife through butter. They fought their way to the bridge, where they found Captain Zalthora, the architect of Earth's invasion, cornered and desperate. Surrender, Silva demanded, her weapon trained on the alien captain. Zalthora's multifaceted eyes darted from Silva to the scenes of destruction visible through the viewport. What are you?" she hissed. Silva's reply was cold and precise. "We are humanity. We are what happens when you back a creative, adaptable, and determined species into a corner. We are the nightmare you created." As Zalthora was led away in chains, the news spread rapidly through what remained of the Zorthian fleet. Their leader captured, their forces in disarray. The once mighty alien armada began to surrender en masse. Admiral Harper watched from the bridge of the Resilience as enemy ships powered down their weapons. "Send word to Earth," she ordered, her voice thick with emotion. Tell them we've won." The cheer that erupted on the bridge was echoed across the human fleet, and soon, across the entire planet. Humanity had not only survived an alien invasion, they had turned the tables completely, defeating a technologically superior foe and taking their first steps into the galactic community. As the remnants of the Zorthian fleet were escorted back to Earth for processing, Admiral Harper turned to her XO. "You know," she mused, "in a way, we should thank them." Her XO looked puzzled. "Thank them, Admiral." Harper nodded, a wry smile on her face. "They came here thinking us prey, and in doing so, they forced us to become the predators we always had the potential to be. They united our world and gave us the stars." As Earth celebrated its victory and began to look to the future, the rest of the galaxy watched in stunned silence. The human species, previously unknown and thought insignificant, had burst onto the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. The age of human expansion had begun, and the stars themselves seemed to tremble at the prospect. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since the day humanity repelled the Zorthian invasion and took its first bold steps into the galactic community. Earth, once a hidden jewel in the cosmic ocean, now stood as a beacon of innovation and resilience, its influence spreading across the stars. In the newly constructed United Earth Embassy on the neutral world of Nexus Prime, Ambassador Elena Rossi, former president and hero of the Zorthian War, prepared to address the Galactic Council for the first time. The chamber was filled with representatives from 100 different species, all eager to hear from the race that had shocked the galaxy. As Rossi took the podium, her eyes swept across the diverse assembly. Insectoid hive minds buzzed with anticipation, crystalline beings shimmered with curiosity, and even the stoic energy beings pulsed with interest. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Rossi began, her voice carrying the weight of Earth's history. "I stand before you today not just as a representative of humanity, but as a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within all sentient beings." She paused, letting her words sink in. 5 years ago, our world faced annihilation. We were deemed primitive, weak, unworthy of our place in the cosmos. But in our darkest hour, we discovered a truth about ourselves, a truth that I believe holds relevance for all species gathered here today. The chamber was silent, every being hanging on her words. We learned that true strength lies not in technological superiority or military might, but in adaptability, creativity, and the unwavering will to survive. We discovered that when pushed to the brink, every sentient species has the potential to evolve, to surpass their limitations, to become more than they ever thought possible. Images began to play on the massive screens surrounding the chamber, scenes of human resilience during the invasion, of innovation born from desperation, of unlikely alliances forged in the heat of battle. The Zorthians came to our world expecting to find prey. Rossi continued, her voice growing passionate. Instead, they awakened a slumbering predator. But let me be clear, we do not revel in this role. We do not seek conquest or domination. Our goal, our deepest desire, is to ensure that no species ever again makes the mistake of underestimating another. She gestured to a group of Zorthians seated in the gallery, former enemies, now reluctant allies. We have made peace with those who once sought our destruction. We have shared our technology, our innovations, born from the crucible of war, with those who would use it for the betterment of all. The screens now showed images of joint human-alien scientific endeavors, of terraforming projects bringing life to dead worlds, of faster-than-light ships exploring the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Humanity does not come before you today, seeking accolades or demanding power, Rossi declared. We come with an offer, to share our unique perspective, our ability to think outside conventional boundaries, our knack for finding solutions where none seem to exist. We offer our creativity, our adaptability, our relentless drive to improve and evolve. She leaned forward, her eyes blazing with conviction. But we also come with a warning. Never again will we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Never again will we stand idly by while the strong prey upon the weak. From this day forward, humanity pledges to be a protector of the downtrodden, a voice for the voiceless, a shield against those who would use their power to oppress others. A murmur ran through the assembly, a mix of awe, apprehension, and respect. We extend a hand in friendship to all peaceful species, Rossi concluded, but to those who would follow in the footsteps of our former enemies, who would seek to dominate or destroy. Know this, humanity is watching. We have taken our place among the stars, and we will not be moved. As Rossi stepped back from the podium, the chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien sounds, the Galactic Council's equivalent of thunderous applause. Species that had been bitter enemies for millennia found themselves united in their reaction to humanity's debut on the galactic stage. In the years that followed, humanity's influence spread across the cosmos. Earth became a hub of interstellar commerce and cultural exchange. Human adaptability and ingenuity, combined with alien technologies, led to advancements that transformed the galaxy. The Sol system, once an unremarkable corner of the Milky Way, became a shining beacon of progress and unity. The Zorthian War, while tragic, had ultimately forged humanity into something greater than it had been before, a species that understood both its power and its responsibility. As ships of 1,000 worlds came and went from Earth's bustling spaceports, as human explorers ventured into the unknown alongside alien comrades, as treaties were signed and alliances forged, the galaxy settled into a new era of peace and prosperity. And if occasionally some ambitious warlord or expansionist empire got ideas about conquest, they needed only to look to Earth, the world that had faced extinction and emerged victorious, to reconsider their plans. For in the vast, star-studded tapestry of the cosmos, humanity had carved out its place. No longer prey, not quite predator, but something far more valuable. A protector, an innovator, a force for progress and change. The day the aliens learned that humans were not prey had become the day the galaxy learned that categories like predator and prey were too simple, too limiting. In the end, it was the ability to transcend such definitions that truly mattered. And in that, Humanity had shown the way forward, not just for themselves, but for all sentient life in the vast, wondrous, ever-surprising universe they now called home.